Hello, everybody. My name is Luca. I'm the technical director and audiovisual director and editor and also investigative journalist for TLB, the Liberty Beacon. This is Learn to Unlearn on TLB and TLBTV, and for a very good reason, because this is going to be a show uncovering the lies or the untruths of society today. I'm here with Frank Gregory Ford, 3 decades in the military, credentialed as a counterintelligence non-commissioned officer, assigned to Detachment 1, Company A, 223rd Military Intelligence Battalion of California National Guard, under the active command of the 205th Compliant Military Intelligence Brigade. He was also qualified as a U.S. Navy corpsman and a U.S. Army medic. He's also the only American to bring his country to court for being renditioned and tortured in Iraq, and he's probably one of the best people that we can think of to be here today to talk about past events and also present events, which I think he wants to start by talking about now. Am I right, Greg?
Oh, well, that's why you have me on the show. All right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You know, when you spent 30 years as a spy and being in the covert business, it's hard to put it down, and you tend to learn how to read between the lines. All right. You learn how to read the unspoken. So yes, and we do have plenty of that today. Okay. Let me see. All right. Now, what is this about, President Trump? Okay. Everybody's all upset about President Trump. And all I can say about this is really beginning to look pretty familiar. Okay. We've got the original, this is just the Reichstag burning, okay, in Berlin in 30s. Well, then we have, the World Trade Center, which the ramifications are still 9/11 that are still falling out around our ears. All right. As I told your listeners, Luca, I said, look, okay, 10 days ago, I stood at the home of Phil Marshall, and your listeners should know who Phil Marshall is, and his material that he gave his life to let the American public, he gave his whole family's life too. He and his family were slaughtered, okay, by a contract Israeli hit team to come in, and that was done at the behest of the Bush family and the CIA to make sure that the American people do not know who hired the Saudis, okay, to pay for the 9/11 attack, and who attacked Washington and New York, and who started an endless series of wars that we are stuck in right now. You don't think we're stuck in it? Hey, just call Washington. You can even call Donald Trump and say, how many wars are we in? Oh, well, I know this has kind of gotten by the wayside because the purchased and manipulative media, all right, all 6 major media corporations have been purchased and bought off. So I'll tell you, okay, I'll spare you the effort of looking that all up. All right. There is now 10 wars going on that America is right in the middle of, that have started themselves, yep, and put themselves in. And who do you think the government is, by the way, folks? Okay. You are the government of the United States. I know the government doesn't want you to think that, but you are the government. You are paying for all of this lunacy, buffoonery, treachery, treason. Okay, I mean, you are paying for it right now. So that's why I need to get everybody a little awake this afternoon. It's a beautiful day here in California, which isn't unusual. And hey, start paying attention, because we are fast heading towards a major World War III. All right? Okay, the provocation is there. The people, the powers that be, those plutocrats, okay, that I love to tell you about, guess what? They are waiting for the next one. They can't wait for the next war to start. Okay, we've already got 10 wars going. Any words of protest from anybody? No, of course not. No, and by the way, that's 3 more than what George W. Bush showed General Wesley Clark, in the first opening days of his presidency. All right, George W. Bush, that war hero, George W. Bush, okay, Mr. George Sniff W. Bush, okay, they had to get him off the coke habit first before he could be president. All right, as bad as Wild Bill Clinton, okay, who didn't inhale. All right, no, Wesley Clark walked into the Oval Office, and George W. Bush looked up and he said, "What do you think about these invasions?" Okay, and Wesley Clark said, "What invasions?" And Wesley Clark was the general in charge of Western Europe, NATO command. All right. And George said, "Well, the DOD is telling me that we are going to invade five of these countries, Middle East countries." All right. And Clark said, "Well, why do you want to do that?" And George W. said, "I don't have the faintest idea." Well, surprise. Then we got a present from who? Dick Cheney and Donald Rumsfeld. All right. The PNAC, okay, for a new American century, Project for a New American Century. Oh, gee, boy, this is a great way to start a new American century, folks. All right. And I thought just as soon as we got rid of George W., this nonsense buffoonery was going to end. Okay, this murderous slaughter of American youth was going to end. Okay, what do we get? We get Obama, who can't burn whistleblowers fast enough. And we're already off onto another great start with Donald Trump. Okay. Does anybody know what that young lady just exposed? That little whistleblower now just exposed, who's facing 10 years as a result? Well, it wasn't nearly as dramatic as Ed Snowden or Julian Assange, but I'll tell you what, it will sink Donald Trump. Okay. No wonder he's going to try to prosecute her. No wonder. Okay. I would too. I think everybody listening to this show would realize, if you realize that you had somebody that could put you in jail, legitimately prison for the rest of your life, you would too. All right. So on that note, speaking of another whistleblower, but this poor guy, okay, he got shot and killed. Okay. Yes, that's right. Seth Rich. Now, I'm finding out some really interesting things out of Washington that just aren't on the news. First of all, Seth Rich was shot and he didn't know he was shot, okay, because he was already drugged up. He was wandering around and drugged up. And this comes from one of his best buddies who happened to be with him when he was shot. Yes, they have eyewitnesses now. They don't tell the public that of what happened, okay? His buddy was there, and he said, yes, he was so drugged up, he didn't know he had been shot twice in the back. Okay, and he did arrive to the hospital alive and well, and then a few minutes later, 22 law enforcement agency members showed up, and as soon as they left, he was dead. Gee, gosh, this sounds almost like a Princess Diana killing, okay? Arrives alive, and all the good guys supposedly show up, and she's dead. Okay, so yes, Seth Rich, who did not 25,000 emails, he sent 45,000 emails, all right, to Julian Assange. Okay, what does that all mean? That means that Hillary Clinton, okay, is a CIA operative. Oh my goodness. Hillary Clinton working for the CIA? Gee, imagine. She was married to that, that big homicidal clown named Bill, okay, who was, yes, he was agency when he was at Oxford, okay, back in the good old days. And Obama, does anybody doubt for 1 second Obama was an agency operative? I'll shock you. If you think he wasn't, I'll shock you. Okay. And then, the assassin has been identified now of Seth Rich.
I was waiting for that.
Yes, his name is Alpha Jola. Okay. A group of Somalis that have been hired, all right, that have been hired by the ISI, okay, the ISI, Paki Inter-Service Intelligence, okay, who is now on contract, and they're being paid by the CIA to collect intelligence on our politicians. And guess who's running them? I'm getting so bored of this crap, people. You should be too. Guess who's running them? Humma Weiner. Everybody knows who Humma Weiner is, okay? Well, yes, she is running the group called the Awan Brothers, all right? The Awan Brothers. Hey, you want a used car? Okay, especially anywhere in Virginia, go see the Awan Brothers, all right? They'll sell you a used car, okay? But here, I even got their salary, what each one's making. Yeah, on your dime, you're being paid. This is what the whole joke is about our government now, okay? Not only are you being paid to be spied on your phone, on your television, on your email. I mean, take your pick. You're paying to be spied on, okay? The listeners are being paid, paying to be spied on, okay? But also, hey, you can take this one to the bank too, all right? Each member of the Awan Brothers, okay, who are running this, what's called an ELINT collection, electronic intelligence collection, they're being paid each $160,000 a year, okay, plus expenses by the agency to spy on you, okay, to spy on you and your politician. The agency is doing this, and the point of contact for this whole wonderful operation, we ought to call it Operation Blackberry. Oh, where'd that name come from? Okay, well, $160,000, okay, and guess who shows up and gives them that contract? Hillary Clinton, okay? What, am I going to be cursed the rest of my life with Hillary Clinton? When I was 18 years old, I was on presidential security for Richard Nixon, and during the Watergate hearings, this clown, the sanctimonious, self-righteous bozo, shows up named Hillary Rodham, and she starts going on and on about the president of the United States isn't warranted, legal representation. That's Hillary Clinton. That's, yes, the same one. All right. So what is it that's going on now? Well, there's some light that's beginning to shine in this dirty, rodent-infested room we call Washington. All right. Well, the GRU now has submitted a report, and everybody says, well, who's the GRU? Well, that is Soviet military intelligence. Very clever, very sharp, very tough. They're also known now by their new moniker, SVR, okay? The KGB, who I even think my grandmother knew who the KGB was, okay? They are now the FSB, and the military intelligence, much smoother than the KGB. Just ask Vladimir Putin, okay? They are now submitting a report, okay, called the SUCOR report, SUCOR report. Oh my goodness. Now, they mentioned something about, first of all, what happened with the Braverman representative of the Clinton Foundation, okay? Now you're going to start seeing a lot more of the almost half of the $2 billion that has gone into the Clinton Foundation that nobody seems to know about, all right? That's coming from the GRU folks. I know them as GRU because I worked with them, all right? I know these people. They don't fool around, okay? And they said they have it in their intelligence that within 2 hours after the election results were made public, naming Donald Trump as the president of the United States, somebody named John Podesta. John Podesta, you know, the pedophile that kind of runs everything for, you know, the spiritual guru that runs everything for Hillary. Okay. Well, John Podesta and somebody who I barely know, but it turns out he's fairly important, named Robbie Mook. Does that name ring a bell? Robbie Mook? Great last name, huh? It sounds like a Saturday Night Live, you know, character. Okay. Robbie Mook and John Podesta decided to put this whole project together to blame the Russians within 2 hours. And they specifically targeted the Russians because they knew from their own dealings with the Russians that most of our intelligence services would take the bait and buy off on that. Okay. Yeah. Remember, I think I pointed it out how many millions of dollars Hillary Clinton made for selling radioactive isotopes to Russia, to Vladimir Putin specifically. Who cares if there were some points of contact between Trump and Sessions and a few other people in his campaign? Who cares? Hell, Hillary Clinton's selling them bombs. Jesus, bombs. She's selling our bombs, okay, which she's taking a multi-million-dollar commission off of, you know, to the Russians, okay? And by the way, some of my sources now are beginning to point to some very, very quiet manipulations, okay, as in selling trigger devices, fast-forwarding, fast-oxidative triggering devices for nuclear weapons. I don't know why I'm telling everybody this. You know, I tell them this stuff. It happens, and there's nobody out there that says, "Hey, you told us that, didn't you?" Okay, but you better listen up, folks. Okay, yes, it looks like somebody has been selling high-speed, forward-biasing nuclear detonators to the Republic of North Korea. Okay. Uh-oh. Guess who again? Guess where the evidence is going again? Anybody want to guess? Hillary? Bill? Okay. So, and then, you know, finally, it sounds like Donald Trump seems to be the only one listening to me. I said, do not allow, what's his name? The new appointed, who's the new appointed special prosecutor? Robert Mueller? Robert Mueller.
I think so, yeah.
All right. It looks like Trump is taking my advice. It looks like he might just fire him. Okay, and if he hasn't by now, he should as soon as possible. Robert Mueller is the lapdog of the Bush cartel, the Bush crime family. He's Trump won't stand a chance with this goon Robert Mueller. And it's funny how James Comey insisted that Robert Mueller be named as special prosecutor. Okay, a special counsel, I think is what they call it, special counsel. Okay, yeah, no wonder. And okay, guess this is for the American people listening to your show, Luca. Guess who covered up the entire 9/11 hearing and commission with the help of Philip Jellicoe? All right, it was Robert Mueller. Okay, see, another monstrous, treasonous Bush project covered up by Mueller with the help of Philip Jellicoe. Okay, you've heard that name on your show several times, Philip Jellicoe. Okay, yes, they covered up the Bush crime family's greatest disaster for the American people, called 9/11. All right, every step of the way, it was Mueller who covered it up. Yes, I'll tell him that to his face. You're damn right, I'll tell him to his face. You think I'm afraid after learning what I've learned and seeing where the Phil Marshall family was slaughtered? Okay, you think I'm going to back down from these punks for a second? Forget it. Ain't going to happen. Oh, and I keep getting this feedback. Oh, well, George H.W. Bush was such a kindly guy. Poppy Bush. Poppy Bush? Okay. Yes, Poppy Bush, the kinder, gentler president. Okay. Remember that?
Mm.
And I remember when everybody went to the Gulf, okay, and the Emir, and the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia wanted to give all the U.S. fighting men who drove Saddam's legions back. Guess what? They didn't get none of them got their student loans forgiven. Okay, most of them, about half of them, lost their homes from the Bush banks and the mortgages that they wouldn't forgive. All right, to go fight that war. Okay, surprise. Most of them had to give up jobs like I did, well-paying jobs, to go make a third of the military salary to go fight that war. All right. Where were the Bushes then? Okay. Well, they said, yeah, I'll tell you where they were. They were telling the princes, their buddies in Saudi Arabia, no, 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 you don't have to pay our people that. No, 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 that's okay. No, all the other allies can take that if they want to. That's $75,000 per soldier. Yeah, they can take that. But no, America doesn't send mercenaries around the world. Mercenaries around the world. Mercenaries say that, and you can watch my lips. Mercenaries around that world. Read my lips, according to George H.W. Bush. Mercenaries around the world. What anybody that's been born in the last 15 minutes knows. Hey, guess what? There's something called Blackwater. Mm-hmm. Guess who was sending Blackwater around the world? Is what? You think it's a bunch of monks, a bunch of Trappist monks, okay, that are in Blackwater? No, it's a bunch of mercenaries, okay, bunch of mercenaries. And in fact, the inspector general who was fired on my case when I demanded an investigation of torture and murder at Abu Ghraib prison, Joe Schmitz, who was the head of the IG, hell, he gets fired and he goes to work for Blackwater to show you the high level of integrity they have working for Blackwater. All right. And then what happens? Okay. You ask yourself about all this. Yeah, fine. They have a slaughter of women and kids in Baghdad. And who did it? Blackwater. Okay. And surprise, we find out that Blackwater isn't working for the DOD, the Department of Defense. Oh no, guess who they're working for? You're going to love this, Luca. I hope you turn up the volume on this one for your folks. All right? Blackwater never worked for the DOD. They worked for the State Department, as in mercenaries for hire for Hillary Clinton. Mm-hmm. Okay? They don't have to pay attention to any of the laws, international Geneva laws, conventions, whatever. They worked for Hillary Clinton. Okay? Yes, she had her own mercenary army. God, that's rather touching. Okay? And look what a great job she did. Just ask the folks at Benghazi. All right? And by the way, those surface-to-air Stinger missiles that she got a contract on that were supposed to have gone to the Syrian rebels, okay? Nobody knows where they're at now. Well, yes, she did make another sales commission. Okay, folks, how much more can I tell you about this? Well, Robbie Mook and John Podesta now are busy targeting President Trump, and they're going to try to bring him down. So I'm going to toss another name. I hope you folks are taking note. This is all happening. This is what I'm getting in the last few hours. Okay? Jeffrey Epstein. Does Jeffrey Epstein ring a bell with anybody, Luca? Okay. Well, it does with me. Jeffrey Epstein, has information about Donald Trump beating to death a young woman on Orgy Island, okay, St. James Island, all right, when there were all kinds of other people present, all right. He raped her and beat her to death, okay, and Jeffrey Epstein knows about this, okay. Yes, that Jeffrey Epstein, who owns Orgy Island, St. James Island, and who has had Hillary Clinton, Abaddon the young Prince Philip, okay, to the island. Several more luminaries. Oh, Alan Dershowitz has been there too. Goodness. But what is it about sticking on a bunch of these bozos with no control and willpower, sticks them on a plane, flies them off to some tropical paradise, gets them a bunch of 12 and 13-year-olds. None of them refuse. They all rape these young women, all right? Don't believe me? Ask Elizabeth Roberts, all right? And here's the bombshell. Ask Elizabeth Roberts about Hillary Clinton and her sexual feeding habits, okay? I mean, it's a scream. It's an absolute scream, okay?
Or Kathy O'Brien, while you're at it.
Kathy O'Brien, I mean, yeah, it goes on and on and on, okay? So, don't think I'm trying to protect Donald Trump. I'm trying to protect the American people from these lunatics, these maniacs, these psychopaths that we've got, okay? We've got the Awan brothers from Pakistan, busy running around spying on our own politicians at the behest of Hillary Clinton, okay, and the Hillary Clinton cartel, okay? And why are they doing this? I didn't tell anybody. Guess what? Pakistan makes 98% of the heroin in the world. And that is the agreement that we've given to Pakistan, is they can keep selling 98% of the known heroin supplies to the United States. No wonder we're having hundreds of people a day dying opiates. Oh, our government's accommodating it. Okay, all these goodies. So anybody that thinks, oh yeah, Mr. George H.W. Bush, Poppy, I get misty-eyed whenever I hear what a good, kind gentleman he is. Kinder, gentler gentleman, okay? Well, I just heard that Mr. George H.W. Bush likes little boys, okay? Not only does he like little boys, I mean, it could have been little girls, it could have been drugs, it could have been Great Danes, okay? No, he likes little, helpless black boys, okay? African-American boys. You don't think so? Read the Franklin cover-up, okay? The Franklin cover-up, all right? What kind of maniacs do we have running this country, all right? I mean, devil worshiping, satanic this, child abducting that, child molesting this, drug dealing. This is what we have right now, okay? Anybody that has questions, go ahead and have them call you, Luca. I want to hear what kind of reasoning, that some of these people out there that allow this to go on have in their minds. I really would like to hear this. And if you think I'm wrong, please let me know. I would love to have some of my intelligence sources, provide some substantial information to these folks that doubt any of this. All right? So that's what I have today, okay?
There's also the Finders program, where they were kidnapping little kids right off the street. A van with dark windows pulls up, take the kids, and takes off. And that's a deep rabbit hole there. Ted Gunderson tried to tell us about that one, but he mysteriously died. What was it, arsenic poisoning? Anyway, yeah, I'm kind of wondering myself.
That's right. Okay. So there we have it, and you'll be hearing very shortly from people like George Weber. I don't know if that rings a bell, George Weber, but he's out there, fearless, courageous. He's getting more on Hillary. There's enough to put her away for the rest of her miserable life. All right, she can make furniture, learn how to make furniture. She can actually get a saleable, marketable skill in Department of Corrections. All right, because that'll make her worth a lot more than she is now. Making federal furniture. Okay.
Yeah.
And go ahead and put Poppy Bush in. Hey, if the General Pinochet of Chile could be thrown into prison at 94, guess what? Poppy Bush, instead of jumping out of a plane for his birthday every year, hey, fly him over Leavenworth and drop him in with a parachute. Why don't we do that? All right, so he can learn how to make license plates for the rest of his life. You don't think the information is there? It is there. Yeah, you can take it from anybody. Hey, we'll start with the October surprise woman. Okay, you put it all together. Try to tell the American people what a disaster Reagan was, and Poppy Bush, George H.W. Bush. Okay, that was Barbara Honegger. She gave America the warning, and that's what. Guess what they're calling this whole episode now? The October surprise. All right, she's standing by, ready to go. And the funny thing, no one can challenge her. She worked for both of them as an intelligence analyst. Okay, and if that's not a big deal, you can tell all those people that were held hostage by Iran. All right, held hostage by Iran, that they had to wait 30 more days while Bush and Reagan made sure that Jimmy Carter didn't have that release and possibly be voted back in as president. That's what that whole situation was about, right there. All right. How's the audio on this, Luca? Can you hear me all right?
We're getting a lot of static, and I wanted to apologize also to our listeners, because every time you talk, you get a crackling in the back of it. But what you're saying is so precious to most people that it doesn't seem to matter, because we're being watched more and more as the shows go up. So we're just going to go. It must be the NSA listening to you again. But
yes, I think so. Oh, hey, I just got something today. Okay, anybody need a new liver?
Okay, say that again.
Oh, okay. I just got a message on my machine here. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Does anybody need a new liver or kidneys? Okay. Anything like that? Well, guess what? Hillary and her little company now are harvesting organs. Okay. They're harvesting organs in places like Haiti. Okay. Imagine Haiti and India. All right. Now, what I don't understand is why are most of the organs that are being harvested going from India? Guess where they're going? They're going to Israel. Okay. Oi, oi, oi. Okay. Gosh, what is going on? Now, it isn't, Hillary Clinton's group, the foundation is busy harvesting organs. Okay. They go to these horrifically poor, poverty-struck, catastrophe-stricken countries like Haiti, and they buy organs. And if they don't sell, they just take them anyway. Okay, what a kind group of people that are in that Clinton Foundation. 2 weeks ago, they were caught moving a bunch of Chinese. Okay, illegal cargoes of Chinese on the what is it, the USS Chelsea?
Yeah.
Chelsea. Okay, there we go. All right. But hey, if you need a set of kidneys, if you need a new liver, okay, you can contact the Clinton Foundation, and they can go put in an order to harvest some just for you. All right. All you got to do is make a donation. Okay. Pay to play. Hillary Clinton, pay to play. The Clinton Foundation. All right. And you can even make a kindly donation to the Orgy Island Fund too. All right. So that'll help pay the family of that little girl that was beaten to death by Donald Trump. Okay. So what a country we live in. But that is happening right now. Right now. All right. So anyway, don't you have something really interesting to say coming up about what we just discovered?
Well,
about where I was at 10 months ago.
I'd like to take the opportunity to tell our listeners a little bit about me as well, while you're getting ready with your laptop. There we go. If you think of it, one of the reasons why shows like this even exist is because we've been lied to about everything since anybody can remember. And according to the powers that be, if we really knew what these goons in charge were up to, as your favorite subject says, Greg, they would chase us down in the streets and lynch us, courtesy of the Bush crime family, right? And we have been lied to about.
That's what Poppy Bush did, right?
We've been lied to about absolutely everything. And even Henry Ford said it in 1922 about the banking system. But, you know, think about somebody who tells a lie, okay? Someone close to you, let's say. Are you going to believe him and trust him again? You know, and then there's playing detective. I heard it said in a relationship that if you have to play detective with the one you're in a relationship with, you may as well forget it. Well, I have been playing detective about my government for the last 30 years. And this is what's going on. So, you know, what does that tell you? I don't know what it's going to take for the American public to wake up. And this is where my journey started. And I just want to share a little bit of it with you. The genocide of the original people, the Indian in this country. But when I was living in Canada, that's when it started. And I really had a good view of it for about 25 years or so, with the residential schools, with the abuse, the famine, the neglect. And then you see, oh, hang on a second. The Germans and the Jews. Hitler was studying his enemy, and he got the idea of concentration camps from the residential schools, you know. And then there's the grotesque and illegal violence that Israel is doing to Palestine. Then you find out the Queen is not really British. Her name is Saxe-Coburg-Gotha, originally from the Wettin. Okay. Then there's 9/11. Saudis, Israel, Britain, Rothschild event. Really? Okay. So then I start studying the Rothschilds. And then from then, Rockefeller, Monsanto, the FDA, IRS, CIA, FBI, the Fed. Oh, the Titanic was really called the Olympic, you know, big pharma, vaccines. Because my ancestors were German, okay, I had to stop on the Holocaust. Even though there were 100 million Native American souls in the Americas slaughtered since 1492, laws against, you know, the Holocaust, you know, I'm saying to myself, okay, if the Holocaust was legit and, you know, truth has nothing to hide, right? Truth does not fear any investigation. Why don't they just open up and, you know, let everybody investigate what they want? No, the laws against bringing up the Holocaust or talking about it or speaking about it involve only the countries involved in the Holocaust itself. See, so this is what happens when you investigate. And then you find out, oh, hang on a second. Speaking of the Holocaust, the Harriman brothers. Remember you were talking about the Harriman brothers, Greg? The Harriman brothers laid the rail in and out of Auschwitz. And then you get the Bush crime family. That's what made them rich. You know, all these atrocities. And they install not one, but two presidents because of it. Okay? And according to the movie that everybody should see, it's called From JFK to 9/11, Everything is a Rich Man's Trick. The Nazi headquarters were at 39 Broadway in New York. You know? Henry Ford, the American Henry Ford, he gets the highest German award from Hitler for his work in World War II. It's called the Grand Cross of the German Eagle. And he, you know, he said himself that if the American people knew about the banking system and knew what they were up to, there'd be a revolution before tomorrow morning. And this is in 1922. And no, Hitler didn't suicide himself in a bunker. They found him in Argentina. So this brings us up to Anne Frank's memoir. And, you know, Greg, you were saying you went to Anne Frank's house less than a year ago, right?
Yeah, just 10 months ago, you know, to Amsterdam, you know, and actually viewed it. And this was before it came out about this massive fraud. that has basically been responsible for setting up the what is it? The reparations that were paid to Israel, okay, at the behest of a very guilty feeling German state, and it has affected us. I mean, what to right up to this moment? I mean, the Germans paid reparations based on that and other issues. Supposedly the mass Holocaust that was going on and so forth. Okay, yes. Uh-oh. I have some personal issues with that.
Mm.
Like for instance, RWE, Rhineland-Westphalia Electric. Okay, remember all the Allies' efforts to bomb the power generation plants in the River Valley? Well, that never seemed to have happened for a reason, because it was uncovered that Prescott Bush was one of the largest investors in Rhineland-Westphalia Electric.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Rhineland-Westphalia Electric is the biggest utility corporation right now on the planet. Okay, and then the biggest pharmaceutical company. Okay, all right, everyone should know who that is. That's IG Farben.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess who was paying royalties on chemical patents for Cyclone B? Okay, the lethal Cyclone B that is now known as VX gas. It was IG Farben, Iggy Farben, as they say in Europe, paying royalties to the Bush family. Oh, well, how do I know all of this? Surprise, people. I had in my possession, okay, from the financier of Ferdinand Marcos, okay. Oh, that's the same Ferdinand Marcos who helped uncover the buried gold that was in the Philippines, buried by the Japanese on Mount Iga, that Douglas MacArthur was leading an army to recover. Yes, that Ferdinand Marcos. And he actually when he was overthrown, his finance minister, okay, pulled those out of a safe deposit box. Rhineland-Westphalia Electric and IG Farben non-negotiable bearer bonds. Uh-oh, how did that happen? Why did that happen? Care to ask Averell Harriman? All right. Care to ask Prescott Bush? Care to ask Samuel Bush? Care to ask Poppy Bush when he faked being shot down by a Japanese Zero so he could become the intelligence officer for Douglas MacArthur? Care to ask? Okay, be my guest. Okay, if you don't get that answer that I just told you, call me back, folks. All right, because yes, we have been swindled. The American people have been swindled, and they found it was so easy to do it, they just kept doing it. At the end of World War II, it was so much fun to stick you with income tax. All right, we really didn't have much income tax before World War II, but guess what? The Federal Reserve Bank, okay, came about basically after World War II because they found that the American people would buy off anything that the government told them. Their elected officials would tell them. Okay, that's why you've got these sociopathic, psychopathic, greedy robber barons that are in power now. They ain't getting out of power no matter what you say. Okay, there it is. That's what kind of situation we have.
See, this is what I want people to understand about our show. We're not pointing fingers. What we're doing is we're trying to wake up, especially the American public. We're trying to bring into light how much we're being lied to. We're trying to let people know how much we've been swindled. Okay, from the Anne Frank's memoirs that we found out were written with a ballpoint pen. Okay, ballpoint pens didn't exist until 1951, so they found out that it was, it was a post-war construct, and then you find out that the real guy that wrote the book got $50,000 from the German court, and they just want to push it under the rug. Okay, then you find out that in the United States, every single terrorist attack in this country, America, was a false flag event. Okay? So, you know, we're really trying to wake people up because it's really, really important. This is what they do. Everything is planned. Everything is executed in advance, and they're laughing at us all. Rothschild Zionists have planned, executed, and funded every single war on both sides since 1776. And it's a wonder. You know, you wonder why soldiers have PTSD. You know, another label, right? Because you cannot live in two camps at once. You can't be serving Creator God on one side and go killing people on the other. That's how our spirit reacts when you take a life. It's not normal. Okay, so we really got to look at things straight on, and this is what our show is supposed to be about. It's like, hello, learn to unlearn. You know, take your ego, put it in the closet, and learn to, you know, unlearn. Because like I was saying in our other show, the real definition of intelligence is to be able to entertain a thought, even if you're not okay with it. You entertain it for a bit, you think about it, and then you decide if it's for you or if it isn't. And this is why we have Greg with us. And it's kind of an insult to him if he's bringing us, you know, information like this and people are just carrying on like nothing's wrong, you know. And this is an entire show that we could do on this, about why America hasn't done anything. You know, why you see tens of thousands of people in the street in Iceland, in Turkey, in Spain, you know, in Portugal, in Italy, you know, about vaccines, you know. Oh, we're fine here. Oh, we're going to let a pregnant woman be vaccinated. No problem at all. So, Greg, I don't understand that at all. I don't understand how America can just sit back and just let things go the way they are. And that's what I wanted to bring to the show today, because I'm just baffled. You know, we could do these shows 3 times a day, but however, they are getting good ratings though. In less than 5 hours, on our last show, after 5 hours, we had 900 hits. So at least people are looking at our video.
You know, you said PTSD. By the way, everybody kind of like, oh yeah, that's, yeah, even George W. Bush wrote the Veterans Administration and said, please quit treating these people. All right, quit treating. We can't afford it. We need to pay graft and corruption and kickback money, okay, to half the world, half our buddies, okay. So please quit paying for these damaged troops. You know, they're coming back from the wars that we send them into. Damaged troops, okay. You don't think we have damaged troops? 30 troops blow their former troops blow their brains out every single day, kill themselves every single day for what they had to do in places like Afghanistan and Iraq. All right, you want to read about how I reacted to the torture and abuse? Go ahead and contact the Supreme Court. That's my case right now in the Supreme Court, torturing people for a fee, basically. Okay, a fee that our government is paid for torturing, assassinating, disemboweling, dismembering people with chainsaws. Okay, yeah, gee, I guess that's a kinder, gentler America. All right, and that's what we're dealing with here. Okay. By the way, a few days ago, it was the anniversary of the USS Liberty.
I was just going to mention that.
USS Liberty. Okay, you think we have really good allies? Okay, well, you can't. And it turns out you can't even believe the President of the United States. George W. Bush sat 3 days after 9/11, sat on the veranda of the White House, and with Prince of
Bandar
bin al Sultan. Okay, and we're laughing at the success of 9/11 and smoking cigars when they were doing it. All right, you know that's George the Sniffer. Okay, Bush. All right, forget all the cocaine. Okay, he didn't really inhale, right? Okay, well then we have the USS Liberty, and me being a Navy man, I personally feel it myself. Yes, I saw the video taken from basically the office, the medical office on board the Liberty, filming Israelis in gunboats, PT boats, pulling up next to the Liberty when it was disabled by 3 torpedoes and it had its commo center shot out, and its bridge was blown to bits.
Mhm.
Okay, the Israelis pulled up and were machine gunning American sailors, that were leaping off the Liberty into the water, and they were machine gunning them with Browning 50 calibers. Guess who makes Browning 50 calibers? America. All right. Gee, isn't that ironic? And and this is for posterity and for people to remember the show. Do you know who the admiral was that attempted to cover up that entire issue? Admiral McCain, as in John McCain's father. Okay? And if you want to see something interesting, look at what's coming out about John McCain right now. Okay? It appears he wasn't really as tortured as badly as he has told everybody.
Right.
Okay, in Vietnam. All right? But with that in mind, I saw, and I have a recording of it now, President Lyndon Baines Johnson screaming. He was yelling, okay, in the Oval Office, and he was saying this, and I will never forget it, okay? And if I start to forget it, I will pull it out of my storage and review it. He was screaming, "I want that goddamn ship on the bottom of the sea." Guess what ship he was talking about, folks?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was talking about the USS Liberty. Okay, the captain of the ship. Okay, he actually received, after it was all said and done, he received Congressional Medal of Honor, and on his death, he was not allowed to speak about how he received his Congressional Medal of Honor. All right, isn't that supposed to be for doing honorable things in an honorable war, in an honorable situation? Okay, and I saw the shock on LBJ's associates when he was yelling that, and he had the camera on him. They didn't know what to do. All right, that's how stunned they were. They had no idea how to stop that. So yes, we have our own presidents selling us out for cheaply, by the way, cheaply. Okay, and now we have got a contest between who was going to sell us out the most, sell out their fellow citizens that elected them the most. All right, we've got a big spitting contest right now between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. And like I said, remember, I was 18 years old on presidential security for Nixon when I saw and heard Hillary Clinton say that about a president of the United States. And that was Richard Nixon of what? Watergate fame. So what we have here, okay, is a situation that drastic action is required to set it right. I don't mean, say something, everybody says, "Oh gosh, that's really bad," and 10 minutes later it's forgotten, or the next day it's forgotten.
Exactly.
We need to not only fire these people, seize their assets, and send them into prison. All right? For treason. For treason. Everybody remembers how to spell treason, correct, Luca? Because it doesn't appear to be that nowadays. All right? How about impeachment? I know I'm getting tough here, especially speaking to people who attended the Leave No Imbecile Behind program of George Bush's education program. But hey, we got to do this. I mean, we are at a critical stage of insurrection in this country. All right? Where basically we have no more rights. Oh, you think, oh, ha, ha, laugh. Listen to this guy. Ha, ha, what a joke. Oh, really? Don't pay your taxes and see what happens. I challenge anybody to that. We talk about health care. Healthcare, I used to be a doctor, okay, until I had my brains re-architectured by MK Ultra drugs when I was renditioned for trying to stop torture and mayhem in Abu Ghraib prison. I have the perfect healthcare program, Luca, okay? I want to end the show with this healthcare program. and I think everybody will agree with me. Everyone who pays taxes in this country, and some who don't, okay, guess what? All right, we should have the same exact healthcare program that our elected officials have.
That'd be nice.
Okay, can I make it any simpler than that?
Mm-hmm.
Who pays for their healthcare plans? You do. I do. All your listeners do. Okay. I mean, how do you think Dick Cheney gets his number 5th and number 6 hearts? You know, from any murdered 18-year-old they can find. Okay.
And they're in such good shape physically and mentally, and they're so healthy, right?
Mm-hmm.
They live to such a healthy age.
Anybody check the murder blogs? Okay, to figure out where those hearts came from. Okay, but guess what? Who pays for those? Okay, the taxpayers pay for that. All right, the taxpayers should have exactly what they pay for their politicians to have.
Mm-hmm.
Please, you know, I'm sure there's some imbeciles out there who think, and idiots and half-wits who think, oh, well, yeah, that's called socialism, right? You know, that's why we didn't elect Bernie Sanders, because he's a socialist. Okay, guess what? That is the healthcare plan that Americans should have. They should have the same plan that their elected officials have, because they pay for it. The elected officials don't pay for it. The American people pay for that plan. They're already paying for a healthcare plan. All right? We don't need this tomfoolery and this redirection and this misdirection going on, you know, from our elected officials. Guess what? Everyone, if I become president of the Bull Moose Party, okay, Bull Moose Party, everyone, you know, then the sound of this broadcast is going to have that kind of health care. You'll have the best health care in the world, and you won't pay a dime for it, okay? Oh, we run short of cash? We'll just produce one less $1 trillion aircraft carrier, okay? Oh, gosh. Or a few more submarines, you know, less. All right. Oh boy, that'll really bother everybody, won't it? You know, what was it? If we would produce one less ICBM missile, intercontinental ballistic missile, we could educate, and this is an established fact, we could educate every single mother on welfare in the United States, in this country. Okay? One less.
Well, to finish off the show with the last thing that I have to say, I would like to formally apologize. This is to all the Muslims around the world. Quote, I would like to offer a huge apology to a group that I am not a member. And this is, if there's one group that cannot be held responsible for 9/11, it is that very group blamed for this crime, and that would be the Muslims around the world. Let me say with resounding clarity, on behalf of sane thinking people, that we are deeply sorry that Muslims have been falsely accused of the events of 9/11, and subsequently countless Muslim lands and people have endured the farcical war on terror. We apologize for the invasions, the occupations, the drone strikes, the torture, Guantanamo, for all the maiming and the death that has rained down on you. Let it be understood that from this day forward, from this non-Muslim, that we know that the 9/11 false flag was intentionally, falsely blamed on you as to cultivate a clash of civilizations. We reject the war on terror in total, and we shall identify those responsible come hell or high water, end quote. That was taken from Ken O'Keefe's video, Who Done It and Why.
I concur, Luca. You have my blessing. You know, as a member of the Scots, of the Scots clans, the Clan McCrae, and also Native Americans, the Cherokee of Muskogee Creek, who, by the way, were ridden to death damn near on the Trail of Tears. When they finally got settled into Oklahoma, what happens? They discover oil on their land and start annihilating them again.
Right.
So, you know, absolutely. What is it about these white Anglo-Saxon Protestants? You know, they go out and they kill thousands of their own people, thousands of their own people. That was called 9/11. 3,000 people dead in one day. All right. And of course, They blame the Muslims for it. I remember the pictures of the Israelis leaping up and down with joy on East River Bank when those buildings came crashing down. All right, gosh, yeah, I think it's well overdue, and I know the Bush family should be forced to give up their assets, all of their assets, to the families of 9/11. All right, and the families of the soldiers that have gone on, the thousands that have died in the endless wars that have been generated by the Bush family ever since. All right, yes, the Bush family. Anybody want proof? Oh, boy, do we have proof. All right. So, by all means, thank you, Luca, for having me on your show. All right. By all means, thank you.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure, Greg. And we'll do this. We'll do this once a week. And we also have global updates as well, 3 times a week. And we'd like to steer you to the Liberty Beacon. That's thelibertybeacon.com, and also TLBTV on Facebook. Greg, it's been a pleasure as usual, and we'll see you next time.